Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Genshin Impact review series of reviewing characters. So, today, since we don't need an introduction for the series, we'll be immediately jumping into our character of today, which is Amber. Amber is the second character you obtain. I think like 3 minutes into the game you'll get Amber. And yeah, as we said, we're gonna be tackling characters in chronological order of acquiring them for the starter party at least. So why don't we immediately get into Amber and start off with her auto attacks. Amber is a bow character, which means that you can rapidly press the attack button that will cause her to do these normal shots, these consecutive normal shots which deal physical damage. But since she is a bow user, you can also hold the attack button or go into some sort of aiming mode using a controller or on mobile, and this will make your shot a charged shot, and after a second or a second and a half you will see that the point of the arrow starts flashing red because it has been infused with pyro, and you can fire off that arrow and deal good pyro damage. Also, bow users can also hit a weak spot of an enemy, which is usually something like a headshot or a very specific point, and that will also automatically crit. So that's really nice. But yeah, that's auto attacks, pretty normal for a bow user. Moving on then to Amber's elemental skill. Amber's elemental skill is this Baron Bunny, which she throws when you tap the skill button. This ability, I will have to say, is really good. Like, it's actually extremely powerful. It's a decoy. It acts as a decoy, which means that enemies will go towards it and start attacking it instead of attacking you. It works really well in synergy with Amber herself, because Amber needs time to charge up her shot. So throwing out the decoy, enemies go at it, and you have plenty of time to charge your shot and throw it towards the enemies. It can be a bit weird because enemies are attacking the bunny instead of you, so they might move a bit, because you know, like, if they are attacking you, they're coming face first at you. But when they're attacking the bunny, you might miss your shot if you aren't the best at aiming, let's say. Or, you know, they do some sudden move. But yeah, like, this ability is extremely broken. Okay, I mean, extremely broken. It's a decoy, and a decoy in basically any game which taunts an enemy is just really, really powerful. Not only that, this thing actually explodes after either it is killed, because it does have it does share health with Amber. By that I mean that it takes a percentage of her health as its own health, and enemies can actually kill it. Although usually you won't really see that unless unless the enemies are really high level and the bunny is like low level or you don't have much HP. But yeah, after its health is depleted or after its duration ends, this thing will explode and deal pyro damage to surrounding enemies, which can be used to either trigger a vaporize reaction, both ways, you know. It explodes, enemies have pyro on them, you use a hydro or a cryo ability and you trigger vaporize or melt, or you set up a hydro or cryo ability with the bunny, and then when the bunny explodes, it will trigger vaporize and deal some good damage. But yeah, like, really good ability, but it's really only, again, focused on Amber, because she's really the one that's gonna be using it. Because if you're a melee character, you want enemies to attack you, really. You don't need the decoy as a melee character. It's, again, mostly for archers, for bow characters. So yeah, overall though, really good ability. We'll talk more about it, I guess, and mention it later. But let's move on to Amber's ultimate, which is this rain of arrows, and it's just underwhelming, really. It can deal a really good amount of damage. Its multipliers, by that I mean like its like percentages of damage, they are pretty good. And even on low levels, you can deal an insane amount of damage. But it's just that you can't really proc reactions with it because of its duration. And because you can't move during its duration. Like the animation duration of Amber firing the arrow that creates the rain is basically the duration. So you won't really be able to trigger reactions after firing the rain of arrows. And even if you have some other ability to trigger vaporize, melt, or other reactions, it might be a bit hard. Well, might be a bit hard. You just won't trigger that many reactions as you think, especially not as many reactions as the arrows that hit, because it's like a lot of procs of damage. But because of the reaction buffer that exists, because there is a bit of time before you can actually trigger multiple reactions back to back, you won't be triggering many damage related reactions. So vaporize and melt, which are the big things that will increase the ult's damage. You know, someone like Mona can help you with her decoy as well. But others, Fischl maybe for some overload, although that might actually cause enemies to actually, like, you know, the explosion might throw enemies away from the AoE of the like arrow rain. So yeah, it's tricky. You most likely will be using this as raw pyro damage and maybe 1 or 2 vaporize reactions if you can get the timing on it. But overall, it's underwhelming a bit. And what can Amber then do with this kit? So let's move on to roles that Amber can fulfill. Well, it's only main DPS. Perhaps sub DPS a bit, but main DPS is really the only role she can fit and fulfill using her charged arrow shots, because again they automatically crit when you hit the weak spots, and then her abilities just don't do anything else that can help as a support. Yes, again, the Baron Bunny is good as a decoy, but it's only useful for ranged characters, because ranged characters need that time and space between them and an enemy to do their job, especially again archers needing to charge up their shots. That's why many archer characters have decoys. Amber has it, Ganyu has it, and you know, it's a general thing that a bow character will have some sort of decoy if they rely on their charged shots. That's cool, but it doesn't help anyone else. If you set up a decoy and then go head to head with an enemy, the enemy might actually just ignore the Baron Bunny and hit you. It does have actually a bit of a weird hitbox, let's say, where its taunt radius is kind of small, sometimes kind of big. In early game, I've actually seen it pull enemies from much further away than I did when I went and replayed a bit with Amber to gather footage. But it's a bit weird. Also, to throw this thing, you either tap it and Amber throws it right in front of her, or you hold the skill and then she throws it a bit away. You can't really do that in a abyss-like environment on domains and the abyss. You really need to just tap it. So again, supporting with Amber just isn't possible. And then we have the ult, which just doesn't do anything for support. Again, until the animation of Amber firing the rain finishes, the ability itself is already finished, so you can't switch to another character to proc reactions off of it, nor does it give characters any sort of buff or anything. So again, main DPS, maybe sub DPS, is her only role, I believe. And of course, again, reliant on charged pyro shots, where you have someone like Mona, Xingqiu maybe, but some other cryo or hydro character that will be able to apply hydro. I guess really just Mona is the best the best companion, I would say. And yeah, like, you know, she will apply Hydro from far away, and then you switch to Amber and proc a huge vaporize weak spot shot that will deal insane damage because, well, that's how bow characters work. Weak spot shots are extremely powerful. And for artifact sets that can help you fulfill this that can help you fulfill this role, well, if you're mostly focusing on charged attacks, well, the Wanderer's Troop or Traup set is the only thing you can use. The 80 Elemental Mastery on the 2-piece set is really good for extra Vaporize or Melt damage, and then of course its 4-piece set increases charge attack damage by like 30-35%, which is exactly what you want. You could use the Crimson Witch set. It gives, you know, 15% pyro damage bonus on the 2-piece set, and then it increases reaction damage. But I think the Wanderer's Troop Elemental Mastery is a good substitute and covers up for that extra raw damage increase on the reactions. I think it's a good replacement of that. So you can easily just not use the Crimson Witch for that extra reaction damage and the pyro damage, really. Like, again, if you are extremely only focusing on charged shots, which again I believe is the only real way to use Amber as a DPS, I think that the Wanderer's Troop set is just not replaceable, really, unless, well, some other set comes down in Genshin Impact's life. As for weapons, for 5 stars, the best in slot is Amos' bow, of course. Amos' bow, because it is built for charged attack-based characters, as it increases normal and charged attack damage, and then this whole, like, how much time has that arrow spent before it hits an enemy, it increases damage. Yeah, it's built for that. Amos' bow, I would say, is definitely your best weapon to use as with Amber if you're using as a main DPS with charged attacks as the focus. Or you could of course use Skyward Harp. If you know, Skyward Harp allows you to more easily balance artifacts because it gives crit rate and crit damage, so it can help you. You know, if your artifact rolls aren't the best, you can use Skyward Harp to balance it out and boost those stats. Of course, Skyward Harp also has the most base attack. It has like 674 on the last level, on 90 level. As for 4 stars, there aren't that many. For the complete free-to-play, which you can craft, the Prototype Crescent is the best one. It increases movement speed and attack if you hit someone on the... if you hit a charged attack on a weak spot, which is exactly what you're doing. So yeah, for extremely free-to-play, the Prototype Crescent, or Crescent, is the best choice. Other ones, the Black Cliff Warbow, if you have extra star glitter and you want to, again, use Amber a lot as a main DPS, the Black Cliff Warbow can help you with crit damage. Its effect is really good since you will be doing some really insane charged attack hits. So most likely Amber will be the one to hit the killing blow on an enemy, so she will get the Black Cliff buff. You can also use the Viridescent Hunt if you're lacking in crit rate. The whole like cyclone thing isn't really needed, I guess, for Amber. It can be used to like set up for an ultimate, so you fire off a charged shot and then the cyclone groups up the enemies, and then you fire off your ultimate and you can deal a lot of damage. But that's basically it for Amber and the weapons she can use. Rust exists, and you can actually see me using it in the footage. That is because that was the only extra bow I had to use for Amber. I didn't want to switch my Skyward Harp from Child. But yeah, like, Rust is good, but it does hurt your charged attack damage, and you do not want that. You just don't want that with Amber. So I would skip Rust and use the Prototype Crescent. It's a better choice. There is also the Alley Hunter, which gives some good attack percent bonus, has some good base attack. But the thing is that if you're using Amber as a main DPS, that means she's always out. She's almost always out on the field. And the Alley Hunter isn't really built for charged attack characters. It's mostly built well for Fischl, and only Fischl, basically. So yeah, not that many choices, but the prototype one which you can craft is basically what you need. You don't need anything better unless you want to, like, you know, spend money for the Viridescent Hunt or use your Star Glitter for the Black Cliff. Or of course you get lucky and get yourself a Skyward Harp or an Amos Bow. Not Elegy of the End. Elegy of the End gives energy recharge. You don't want that. But yeah, that's it really. The thing is that people love to hate on Amber as a character if you use her as a DPS, not really as a character in the story. Or, well, what can I say is that MiHoYo has really forgotten about her completely. She still is the poster girl of Genshin Impact on Twitch. They still haven't changed the Twitch icon, but everywhere else you will never see Amber. I haven't seen Amber like mentioned at all. I think she's like maybe in some sort of the comics or manga that Genshin has, but MiHoYo has completely forgotten about her, I must say. And yeah, but the community, I mean, people just know that she's just a charged attack character, and I can agree that, you know, her gameplay can just be quite boring. That's the only thing, you know. She doesn't have any sort of special charged attack shot like Ganyu, which has the 2-stage charged attack. You know, she's just, you know, charge the shot with the bow, shoot it, and that's your damage. Throw the decoy to get some distance, and then ult to deal some damage. And yeah, like, and there isn't that great of a support you can use. Again, mostly Mona is the only character you can have to support Amber, because Mona has a much better decoy than Amber. She can use it from far away compared to Amber, which she needs again to throw it right in front of her or hold it to throw it. And she can apply Hydro for Amber to vaporize. Her ult is broken. We'll talk about Mona at another video. But yeah, like other cryo users, there isn't much to use. Perhaps you can have a party of a main DPS Ganyu and a sub DPS Amber, but I don't think that's really gonna work. That's a lot of resources, and I think that you can easily find yourselves some other party combinations for Ganyu or Amber. But yeah, like, it's a bit hard to support her. Her damage is just charge attacks, so her gameplay can be a bit boring. That's the only thing that I would say people just dislike. Again, her ult isn't anything. It doesn't do something spectacular. The decoy is very, very powerful, but it is only built to help Amber. And again, the whole loop of gameplay and damage just ends up being very boring. And yeah, but that's it. Again, okay, for a starter character, she's pretty okay. I mean, for the overworld, where there are a lot of like pyro related puzzles and torches and such, she's pretty useful to just light those up. But once you get another pyro character or another bow character, you will immediately forget about Amber. Let's be fair. But that is it from me. Thank you for watching, of course. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.